Welcome to FirstClass Escape. Here, we skip the tourist traps and dive into forbidden places the world hides for a reason.
You know, there's a place that exists on every single map you've ever seen, just a tiny dot in the Bay of Bengal. But here's the catch. It's a place you can never, ever visit. Trying to get there is illegal, and actually landing on its shores, well, that's pretty much a death sentence. I mean, really think about that for a second. No tourists are allowed. Okay, that might make sense, but no scientists, no aid workers even when disaster strikes? The Indian government has drawn a hard line in the sand, forbidding anyone from getting close. So what in the world makes this one small island so incredibly dangerous? Well, if you saw it from space, you'd think it was paradise on Earth. We're talking pristine beaches, gorgeous turquoise reefs, a super thick jungle. It looks like the ultimate getaway. But on the ground? Oh, it's a completely different story. That paradise is guarded by a tribe that has violently and successfully rejected all contact with the outside world. The people defending this island are the Sentinelese, and they're one of the last uncontacted tribes on the entire planet. They're hunter-gatherers who've lived in total isolation for, get this, an estimated 60,000 years. And their message to the rest of us has been unbelievably consistent, and it's always delivered with bows and arrows. Stay away. And look, this isn't some recent thing. Their hostility isn't random. It's actually rooted in a very long and often very tragic history of encounters with outsiders. It's a pattern of rejection that goes back centuries. The first recorded sighting was way back in 1771. About a century later, survivors of a shipwreck washed ashore and had to literally fight their way out with sticks. But the real turning point, the one that might have sealed the deal, came in 1880. A British officer named Maurice Portman conducted this awful colonial experiment. He kidnapped an elderly couple and 4 children. The adults died almost immediately from disease. Portman then returned the terrified children to the island with gifts as if that would make it right. It's believed this single event cemented their violent, unwavering hostility towards any and all intruders. And that deep historical distrust, it didn't just fade away with time. It has carried directly into the modern era. And the consequences have been fatal. The threat today is just as real as it was 100 years ago. Take 1981. A cargo ship called the Primrose gets stuck on the island's reef. For days, the crew just had to watch as the Sentinelese warriors on the beach built boats and prepared for an all-out attack. They started firing iron-tipped arrows at the ship, and the crew was desperately radioing for a weapons drop. A lucky storm actually delayed the attack, and a helicopter rescued them. But it was an incredibly close call. And the attacks didn't stop there. In 2006, the island claimed 2 more lives. What happened was 2 fishermen were poaching illegally nearby, and their boat drifted ashore while they were sleeping. They were killed immediately. When an Indian Coast Guard helicopter tried to retrieve the bodies, it was driven off by a volley of arrows. Then, in maybe the most famous case of all, one more person ignored all the warnings in 2018. An American missionary, John Allen Chow, paid some local fishermen to illegally take him to the island. He wanted to convert the tribe to Christianity. On his final trip to the shore, the fishermen who brought him there saw the tribe kill him and then drag his body along the beach. The official decision from the authorities was swift and clear. No recovery attempt would be made. It was just too dangerous for everyone involved. The island keeps what it takes. So at this point, it seems pretty clear why the island is sealed off, right? To protect outsiders from the Sentinelese. But that's only half the story. The real reason the island is forbidden is actually to protect them from us. It all comes down to a crucial biological fact: their lack of viral immunity. After being isolated for something like 60,000 years, their bodies have never been exposed to the world's germs. They haven't built up any of the antibodies that we have to fight off even the most common diseases. So this means something as simple to us as the common cold could be absolutely catastrophic for them. A single virus, something we barely even think about, could literally trigger an epidemic that wipes out their entire population. And that is why the Indian government created this incredibly strict policy. They've banned access since 1956, and they enforce a 3-nautical-mile exclusion zone around the island. So you see, the law isn't a cage to keep them in, it's a shield to protect them from the diseases we all carry. Their arrows are their defense for sure, but our germs are the much, much bigger threat. Now, because of this necessary isolation, North Sentinel Island is just shrouded in mystery. There are these huge fundamental questions about the Sentinelese that we will almost certainly never have answers to. Just think about this for a second. They somehow survived the devastating 2004 tsunami that killed over 230,000 people in the region around them. When a helicopter flew over to check on them, they were greeted by a warrior firing arrows, a clear sign that they were not only alive but as defiant as ever. We have no idea what their language is, what their population really is, or what they believe, but we do know they've mastered fire and are clever enough to salvage metal from shipwrecks to forge their own tools and arrowheads. They're a living echo of a past way of life, one of the last truly sovereign groups of people on the planet, not just surviving, but thriving in complete independence from our modern world. And this really brings us to a much bigger idea. In a world where every single corner has been mapped, photographed, and posted online, North Sentinel Island kind of acts like a powerful mirror. It reflects our own obsession with discovery and control. The very existence of this island poses a direct challenge to the modern mindset. It tells us forcefully that not everything is for us, not every mystery needs to be solved by us, and not every piece of land is ours to claim. Which leaves us with this one last fascinating thought. In an age where we all strive to know everything, maybe the greatest act of discovery, the most profound gesture of respect, is choosing to leave something and someone completely alone.